So today on the channel, I've had to clear my workspace and push my camera back as far as possible to record this for one simple reason: the sheer size of this beast. That's what we're talking about today, taking you back to the time of the Themaltake Armour cases. G'day, it's Al here from One Man Many Plans, and of course the blog of the same name over at onemanmanyplans.com.au. And today we're going to be exploring this thing, PC cases from an era where the bigger the better, and in this case the more structurally sound the better, the more spacious the better, and the more security the better, as you'll see in just a sec. This is a Themaltake Armour case, and interestingly I've never gone out and sought any of these myself, but strangely I now have two under my ownership. And I made this video today because I've actually looked around the shed, the workshop I should say, and thought I should get to cleaning this. I should, do something more productive than have just a lot of junk up on the desk area here and move my 3D printer in the corner somewhere else because it's getting a little bit faulty. That's always fun. And I came across supporting a shelf, because that's how structurally sound this thing is, the old Themaltake case, one of two that I'm using. The other one's actually got a computer in it. And when I say a computer, I'm talking really small components compared to the case size. But I thought, oh yeah, I like reminiscing. Let's take you back. Maybe you had one of these cases. Maybe it's something completely new to you, but let's have a look at the outside, the inside, and see exactly how roomy it really is in there and how secure it is. Because interestingly, when they came out, obviously there was a cry for, he's stealing my hard drive or he's stealing my, my internals. Please put a lock on this. So they did. Now, normally when doing YouTube stuff, I just have it on my desk behind me. But the problem with this thing is it is actually so big and bulky that I couldn't easily have myself sitting at the desk and this and be able to cover all of its glorious inches, of which there are many. It is an absolutely huge unit. And in case you're wondering, a heavy unit too. Now, at the moment, this has no drives in it. It's just got some basic wiring, but it's enough to weigh about 16 kilos. Yep, 16 solid kilos before you add anything into it. Which means that if you needed to transport it anywhere, a minivan would be required. So taking this to maybe a LAN party back in the 2000s when it came out, that would have been quite interesting. Now, a quick history on this unit. The original Themaltake Armour case actually came out back in 2006. So yes, if this was one of the earlier ones, that means that we're coming up to 20 years of structural case and security, which is absolutely amazing. It was a high-end full tower case. So this is the full-size one. There was a mid-size one called the Armour MX, which came out a couple of years later in 2008. It was known for its size and robust construction. As you can see, it looks like it could easily take a couple of shells and still keep all of your hard drives and bits and pieces nice and safe. Overclockers Club notes it was a very large, yes, that it is, heavy duty, sure is, case designed to be a layer of armour for computer components. The Armour series was a popular choice for PC enthusiasts looking for a case that could accommodate high-end hardware and provide excellent airflow, which, as you can see, it has an absolute ton of airflow. We'll get to that in just a sec. But from the outside, as you can see, lots of removable slots for drive. So you've got your power button there, but you could also put whatever you want in there. There was a Blu-ray player that I've removed and put somewhere else, although interestingly, a lot of PC cases these days don't have the outlets for that. But you could also pop these out and put as many drives as you liked, which was just glorious. So if you had just a CD-ROM or a DVD-ROM and then a DVD burner there, or maybe you had a couple and whatever else you got there, down the bottom here, very handy storage case. Great for USB sticks and the security key, which I'm not actually sure where the security key for this thing is, but it's unlocked, so that's really handy. But I like that. That's awesome. Up the top here, some of the models, this bit could slide. The other one that we're going to look at in just a sec, it certainly could. But how's this little pop-up? Oh, how cool is that? And you've got a couple of USB ports, looks like a FireWire port in there. Basic headphone sockets, fantastic. Convenient. Obviously the guy that I got it from, hello Mal, Massive, massive Hawks supporter. Loves Hawthorn, so there you go. Around the back, nothing fancy. Spot for the power supply and your motherboard I/O and anything that you wanted to add in. And of course, you could pop out more tabs as needed. On the other side, just plain black, nice metal. That's it. There are some versions of the case where you would also have some perspex to look through to see the back of your case for whatever reason, if you really needed to see one. But that's the case on the outside. Oh, and the most important bit, as I mentioned before, the lock. Yeah. Obviously, we're going back to a time in the mid-2000s where, theft of hardware was a real concern. And since this thing was just too big to lift and take anywhere easily, they went, we better make sure that no one can break into this. And so we'll put a lock here with just a tiny little key. When it's unlocked, which, should be, I always keep these unlocked because who's going to steal my stuff? Pull out, away we go. And now you can see inside the case. And there is plenty of mounting options. Now, obviously, you've got your mounting points depending on your motherboard size. That's a small one. So if you think of the small one taking up where my hand is, the rest of it is just space. Ready to go. So you can fit whatever you like in here. And the beautiful thing is that GPUs, if you had a really, really long one from left to right, not really a space issue, is there? Plenty of space there. Over on the side here, plenty of space for drives. But then you've got all of these compartments for 3.5-inch hard drives. So you could just have hard drive city, which is just amazing. And you think about now, SSDs and even smaller hard drive equivalents, well, yeah, it's just complete and utter overkill. The great thing was there were no screws. You just pop these out, release, slide them in, and slide them out as you needed to. And off you went. Nice and easy. So that was cool. Down the bottom here, you've got these feet that, for whatever reason, you can shift into various configurations. So if you needed to line it up against a wall, I suppose you could do that. If you had plenty of space to work with, like a fold-out table like I'm using, so much the better. And then, typical of the Armour cases, you had these armour flaps. I wouldn't even know what to call them. They will stop your computer getting shot, and it'll also stop a DVD popping out if you don't want it to, or drawer access if they're closed. But there's no locking mechanism on them, and they're just little flappy bits of metal. Hooray. Themaltake logo down the bottom there. But that, in a nutshell, is one of these cases. Now, I don't know what particular model this is. In just a sec, we'll check out the second one. It's got slight variations on it. So, look, if you know what I'm working with, please let me know in a comment below. Otherwise, it's just a complete overkill for everything that I'm using now. Because as I mentioned, a lot of computers nowadays aren't using disk drives. I used to love a CD-ROM and a DVD-ROM. Now I've got the Blu-ray drive somewhere floating around the shed, somewhere over there. But yeah, haven't used it for a very, very long time. So this is the first of this amazing case series. Let's go and have a look at the other one. Okay, so the second one is actually set up here in our back shed, and it is being used. Again, I don't know what variation of case this actually is, so if you can identify it purely by watching this video, by all means, please chuck in a comment below. It is another Themaltake Armour case. Full-size tower. Unfortunately, I don't know where the other bulletproof... Whoops. Oh, that was a mouse going down. I don't know where the other bulletproof flap thing has gone, but it's gone by way of the dodo. Still got an Asus drive in there. Everything else is complete. Interestingly, this one does not have a compartment down the bottom. Up the top here, though, that's disconcerting. Should put that back in properly. It does have this. So this is its container. It's a little slide container. Again, perfect for pens, pencils, loose screws. The security key, if you keep losing it somewhere, USB sticks, everything else that you like. Doesn't have the panel that the other one does there. Whoops, I've accidentally turned it on. You can see the mouse there. There's your inputs ready to go. I think this was my daughter's case originally, so she's put a nice little heart thing there. Your basic inputs ready to go. And conveniently, because didn't put the side of the case on properly the last time I was doing stuff on it, here is a great example of an absolutely huge case and a ridiculously tiny motherboard taking up one corner in it. yeah, the rest of it's filled up with cables. SSD just sitting up the top there because there's no real capacity for it in these particular models. I haven't worried about, putting the proper 3.5-inch hard drive into one of its dedicated bays, but you've also got spots down here too. So you can pop them open and put whatever you need into, little sliding trays. So I love that. This one seems a little bit more feature packed. I'm guessing this is a couple of years down the track compared to the other one. But yeah, this still gets a workout, because once upon a time I had quite a few different parts, components, cases, bits and pieces just to do various builds. And over time, travel and everything else, I got rid of a lot of them just to save space, and then ended up with not one, but actually 2 of these bad boys. So massive shout out to Mal, who was my boss and used to sell me all sorts of cheap hardware and old hardware for very cheap. And then his son was getting rid of a computer and said, would you like it? And I said, absolutely. And it turned out to be case number 2. So for whatever reason, both of these guys back in the mid-2000s went, oh yeah, best case ever, Themaltakes, off we go. I mean, a full tower size was close to a couple of $100 in US money. So you can imagine how much that was here in Australia. We're talking upwards of $250, I'm sure. If you bought one here in Australia back in the day, please let me know in a comment below how much you paid for it back now. Look, honestly, you'd probably pick them up for about $50. And if you're someone who likes, retro computers and all that kind of stuff, then this behemoth is absolutely perfect for you. So look out for them on a Facebook marketplace near you if you need a computer with far too much space, way too much cooling, room to grow, and a real workout when you're taking it anywhere. I highly recommend the Themaltake Armour series. Like I said, if you've had one of these before, if you're rocking one now in 2025, especially one of the early ones, please let me know below. And if you've enjoyed this little retro trip through some case history, I'd love you to like and subscribe. I'm sure there'll be plenty more highlights coming your way on this channel soon enough.